welcome to Freshly Served, the healthy vegan cooking show. I'm Heather, and tonight we're going to make a mushroom risotto, which is fun. I haven't done a risotto since the very first show when we did squash, and tonight we're going to do mushroom, which is another really excellent one. Now, when you look at a recipe for risotto, you'll often see that it calls for arborio rice or some other Italian-style rice. Now, most of the time I can't find these as a brown rice. They're just the white kind, which means that the fiber and a lot of the nutrients have been removed from the rice grain. So I always like to use a brown rice, and in this case, you want to use a short grain rice. Okay, if you use a long grain, it's not going to absorb the liquid the same way, and the starch is not going to come out, which is the key to making the risotto creamy, especially if we're not using any dairy. So what I'm going to do is I have 1 cup of short grain brown rice in my pot here. I've got the heat up to medium high, and I'm just going to heat the rice grains up before I add any liquid. I've got 3 cups of water heating on the back here, and I'm going to keep this just below boiling so that as I add it to the rice, it doesn't shock cool the rice. So that's going there, and as soon as the rice gets a little bit of heat going, I'm going to start by adding some wine as the liquid. Now while I wait for that to heat up a little bit, I can chop up my mushrooms, which I'm going to saute separately. So I've got a pan back here. I normally don't use this many dishes, but because risotto takes a long time and mushrooms take a long time to cook, I'm going to saute them while I do the risotto. Now as this pot heats up, you want to make sure that the rice doesn't sit on the bottom and burn. Most people are using oil at this stage, which you can, but you don't need to. If you don't use any oil, what happens is the rice will toast instead of fry and bring out the flavor of the rice. So I'm going to add some wine at this point because it's nice and warm. It'll sizzle a little bit, and then you want to stir the rice around and wait until it has absorbed all of the wine. I just didn't put quite enough in there. There we go. Finish off the bottle. Why not? So keep stirring this rice to make sure it absorbs the liquid, and as that heats up, I've got a tiny bit of olive oil back there, and we'll throw the mushrooms in. Now the key to a good risotto, if you haven't had a risotto before, what it is it's a creamy rice, and the way it becomes creamy is the starches come out of the rice grains into the liquid. And the way it does that is by cooking it slowly, letting the water absorb slowly, and by stirring. So as you stir the rice, the starches are going to come out. So this is a fairly long process. Now that the wine is absorbed, I'll add some water. So this is the kind of dinner where you need to hang out in the kitchen, but you can make it fun. Get some music going, get a glass of wine going, make it fun, okay? And all you do, it might take a while, but it's a very simple process. As soon as the water is absorbed, you're gonna add a little bit more. And as it's absorbing, you just want to stir it back and forth every so often with your mushrooms. And that's really all there is to it. So this is the rice with the last of the water added here. You can see it's a little bit softer than your average rice that we would have steeped, and it's a little bit moist. It's looking beautiful. Now the mushrooms on the back, when they finished cooking, I just added some lemon zest and lemon juice to them, flavor them up, and they are now going to go in with the rice. sure I get all those little mushroom bits. I'm also going to season things with a little bit of salt and some black pepper. Keep things real simple here. And the last thing I'm going to add is some chopped fresh parsley, which adds some lovely green and also a whole ton of nutrients. Parsley is so nutritious, more than just a garnish. It's got loads of antioxidants, phytonutrients in there, all of which help to keep you healthy, fight cancer, all that good stuff. Plus it makes things pretty. So once you get everything stirred together, you're ready to serve. And I'll just get some in a bowl here. Top it with a little bit more parsley. Ready to go. You can find the recipe for the mushroom risotto at healthyveganrecipes.net. I'm Heather, and this is Freshly Served.